Hello there, and welcome to Monza for round 6 of Global Formula Automobilista Season 3. The Italian Grand Prix held its circuit for the first time, and in another first, Ayrton Senna has taken his first pole position for Falcon Motorsport. Low downforce seemed to be the dominant strategy required at this circuit as expected, as shown by the fact that Senna in first, last time's out race winner Nico Heidfeld, Max Verstappen in third place are all the three low downforce cars. Lewis Hamilton is fourth in the next low downforce, ahead of Beitske Visser in the NLE. So 5 out of 6 of the low downforce cars take the top 5. It's got Dixon now the highest of the full downforce cars in the Siggy Pot, a team that really could do with a good result. They've shown great promise in all these qualifying sessions, but nothing since then. Stirling Moss, pole position last time out, but his pace was awful in the race in America. He starts 7th here, ahead of Alain Prost, the lowest of the low downforce cars, but if he's qualifying 8th, low downforce is obviously very powerful around this track. Phil Hill is 9th for Excelsior, ahead of his teammate Alexander Rossi. Nico Hulkenberg, he takes 11th, the championship leader, inherited thanks to his podium at America, ahead of Jenson in the Harvey. Milos Pavlovic is 13th for the Red Knight, 4th in the championship and quite far back. John Watson is 14th for 2KF1, a team that could really do with some better luck. Sebastian Vettel takes 15th, ahead of Gurney, another driver who's had absolutely no luck with only 1 point scoring finish so far this season. Mika Hakkinen is 17th, ahead of Mahaveer, Raghunathan and Lando Norris. Chopper speed team, this could potentially be their last race. There's still discussions going on. Might be able to keep them in, but we'll see. And Antonio Felix to Costa, something went wrong in qualifying. He's starting at the back, so it'll be interesting to see how well he's able to carve through the pack. So, oh my god, that was too quick. Well, it'll be fine. We'll just have to watch the start for a replay. I thought I'd press the time acceleration button to turn it off, but obviously not hard enough. Here we go, 5 lights, and away we go. So Senna makes a good start. Verstappen's obviously going to get the jump on Heidfeld down into turn 1. Look at that. Felix and Costa's already moved up past a couple of cars. It all gets a bit dicey as Senna's actually touched there by Verstappen. Dixon late on the brakes with his high downforce managed to jump his way up to 4th. Visser and Hamilton have dropped behind. Senna's made a few places as Hulkenberg is being challenged by John Watson already. If we fly towards the second braking point, second chicane, Heidfeld under pressure as Dixon is being slipstreamed straight back past by Hamilton and Visser. But Dixon flies it back up with superior grip through the corners, gets him back up into 4th place. As Visser now has got past Hamilton, Hamilton's going to be forced out wide. That's where Prost has just gone. Through the Lesmos, the actual corners. That's where these grippy cars are going to catch up, but down the straight it's all probably going to disappear. Visser here going to give Dixon a go into the Ascari chicane, not this lap. Probably going to give Hamilton a run. He's in the background. That was Rossi. Rossi trying to battle with his teammate Phil Hill. He runs a bit wide through the middle of Ascari and Hulkenberg gets through. There's Visser challenging Dixon into the Parabolica as Rossi's going to come back up the inside of Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg's got the high ground around the outside. Rossi gets the slide and Hulkenberg's going to keep the position, but down the next straight he could very easily be slipstreamed. Visser going to have a go at the inside. Dixon has very easily got past down the straight. It's Heidfeld and Verstappen battle. Senna's quite imperious at the front. He's got 6/10 of a gap and Verstappen's more worried about the car behind him than in front. Side by side though, Hill and Moss. Hill's had a go and Rossi has got back past Hulkenberg. This could be an absolute epic battle of slipstreams as this race goes on. Because Rossi's got to defend from Hulkenberg going up the inside into the Della Roggia chicane. They're side by side again on the exit, but Rossi's got the better line coming out the corners. The choppers collide in the background. And Rossi keeps the position for the moment. Verstappen taking a slightly defensive line down towards the Ascari chicane. Heidfeld's not able to make the move just yet. Let's see, the top 4 there, all in the low downforce. Scott Dixon, the highest, once again, of the higher downforce cars, although it looks like Hamilton's going to try. No, he's already through into the parabolica. There's contact as Dixon tries to fight him around the outside because it's such a high speed corner that you need the downforce, and Dixon is absolutely going for it. But Hamilton's going to have the speed down this straight, and yet Sleepop don't have long enough gears in that car to keep up with Hamilton. Talking about long gears, Hulkenberg, Rossi and Watson absolutely battling as they're almost 4 wide. The two Harveys, Pavlovic and Felix to Costa, as they fly into the first corner. Hakkinen and Gurney are battling each other, and Harveys side by side through the curve of Grande. Vettel's going to try and go around the outside. I'm right on board with Felix to Costa and see how this ends up. It's going to be messy. You can see Hulkenberg and Rossi are still side by side. Some dust being kicked up ahead. As Hulkenberg is now lost after that little battle. Moss has fallen behind Hill. As Dixon, yes, Dixon has definitely been passed by Hamilton. He's kept it. As that's Verstappen under pressure there from Nick Heidfeld. Heidfeld having a good run here at Verstappen. Both of them on the long gearbox, both of them on the low downforce. They're going to be super quick down the straights. As Dixon gets passed like he's absolutely nothing by Alain Prost. But he's going to try and fly back up the inside, and there's contact. As Dixon just punts Prost back wide again. That's going to give Hill a chance to get in the slipstream. But now Prost has just got the pace. Prost just has the pace. Neither of these guys have got the long gearboxes though. Hulkenberg's going to have to sit behind and live with it for the moment. So it looks like Button's pulling to the inside of Vettel into the braking point for the first chicane. They're side by side, and this is allowing Pavlovic to escape and allowing Felix to Costa a chance to try and get past one or both of them. As I think up ahead, Heidfeld is now past Verstappen, so where's this happened? It's into turn 1 it looks like. Look at that, 219 miles an hour. And then on the brakes down to 41. They've left each other space. Verstappen has had contact with Heidfeld. You can just see it from Verstappen's views. Heidfeld's there, he knows he's there. Oh, Heidfeld squeezed slightly too much. But Heidfeld had the better line on the exit and he gets through, so Visser now is going to challenge Verstappen. So Prost is now properly ahead of Dixon. Hill's trying to keep up on Moss, and there's a bit of a gap now, but Rossi has broken away from Watson and Hulkenberg as Watson gets a little twitch as he touches the brakes and goes on the grass. So Hulkenberg back up to 11th. As Pavlovic has broken away. And the battling Harveys as Button is super under pressure from Felix to Costa, but Felix cannot quite get through. Really the only difference between these two cars is that Felix has longer gearbox, which should be quite helpful along this straights. Visser really putting the pressure on Verstappen, it's fallen away from Heidfeld now. So Dutch on Dutch action in the Dutch team. Look at that in the slipstream, 222 is what Visser's hit. And she's going to go up the inside of Verstappen. Is Verstappen going to give her teammate room? Verstappen does give his teammate room. Visser does as well. Visser has the inside line. Verstappen can't quite fight it back, I don't think, unless he can get it back in the braking zone. A little bit of slipstream. Up the inside, Verstappen thinks about it, he goes for it. Puts his nose ahead. And Verstappen gets the place back. Impressive driving there. Pavlovic has managed to get past Rossi, Watson and Hulkenberg. What's happened there? What has happened there? Oh, it's Moss. Yeah, Right, okay, so Phil Hill has had a go on Dixon. They've both had a slide. Dixon has lost a load of time, which Moss has then had to get caught up in. Hulkenberg and Watson and Rossi are all caught up to Moss in a really bad time. Pavlovic just had a run, they've all lifted off. He's going to get up the inside of Watson as Rossi gets on the... So... Oh, hang on. Wrong button. Right, Rossi then tries to cut the inside of Moss into Parabolica, gets on the grass and slides. Moss is pushed out wide. So now Hulkenberg pulls out and loses loads of momentum. Pavlovic flies through. Rossi's going to try and have a go at Moss. Watson's in there. They're all slipstreaming up behind each other. And Watson and Rossi and Pavlovic are all trying to squeeze through the first corner together, and Hulkenberg really is the biggest loser in all of that. So he's going to try and get back past Watson as he does into the first Lesmo, or does he? Watson holds it around the outside. But Hulkenberg has the inside line for Lesmo too. But Vettel's now caught up to the pack. And Felix cannot get past Button yet. Watson's going to try and get past Hulkenberg, and Rossi is going to give Pavlovic a go into Ascari. Not happening this lap. Watson almost punts Hulkenberg. Wrong gearbox, doesn't seem to be working in the high downforce cars here. Verstappen has kept lead over Visser as Heidfeld is now caught right up to Senna. Senna's doing 210, not in a slipstream, and with the short gears. Short gears obviously giving Senna acceleration. Heidfeld's going to battle it out. Senna should get acceleration at the corner, which he does. He absolutely launches out the first chicane. Heidfeld now going to try and keep up to Senna. I expect it's towards Ascari and Parabolica. When they're coming out of faster corners is where Heidfeld's going to find it easier to get back past Senna. Both missing the apex at Lesmo 1. Perhaps that's conscious, but Senna's had to lift out in the middle of that straight. Nah, Senna's too far away for there to be an attack here. Verstappen still held off Vissers. Hamilton sticks around, and Prost in a fantastic position. Moss is holding him off, and Hulkenberg has managed to keep ahead of Watson. As behind, looks like Gurney has got past Mika Hakkinen, as Norris is leading the two choppers at the back of the grid. They're the only team not at full power, and they are a long way off in terms of what everybody else is doing in terms of power. Visser going to be under pressure here from Hamilton. Don't think Prost is going to get a chance to get past these because of his worse gear ratios. Hamilton pulls to the inside. He's going to have to go on the inside of Visser. Is Visser going to fight back through the chicane? No, she's not. Hamilton takes 4th place. Good move from the cast driver. Pavlovic has had a go at Moss here. There's contact between the Red Knights. Ross is going to try and capitalise as Hulkenberg gets ahead of Watson. Vettel gets passed by Button, and Felix Costa is stuck in that pack again. Watson going to give Hulkenberg another go. So Rossi's going to sit here and watch the Red Knights try and fight each other through the Rossi chicane. Rossi sticks his nose in, hoping to capitalise when it goes wrong. Moss has got a terrible exit. Rossi's going to go for the inside into Lesmo 1. Keeps the position. It's all action stations here as the slipstream battles at Monza are absolutely flying. Hulkenberg goes on the grass for some reason. Watson easily drives around the DTK. And Pavlovic is streaked ahead. Senna seems to have the pace over Heidfeld. Heidfeld has the top speed. Senna has some amazing pace, which is keeping him ahead of Heidfeld. Senna's done a 24.9 actually to highlight that. Compare that to Heidfeld, who did a... Oh, it went away. Great. Verstappen was in the 26s. Dixon and Phil Hill battling out quite solidly here for 7th. As Watson and Hulkenberg really have turned up. And look at this pack, absolutely bouldering down into the chicane together. Felix Costa's got a dented front wing. as the Harveys are just side by side and acting as a roadblock really. Rossi and Moss trying to get past each other, Watson turning up and joining in the fun. 3 abreast into Variante della Roggia, as again behind it's the same thing, this time it's teammates. Button on the inside of Vettel. Felix can't find a way through. So Watson's challenging Rossi. Moss is quite happily though, head of the pack. Yeah, Senna's broken the toe on Heidfeld and is now really motoring ahead. Watson has got past Rossi and Hulkenberg is now streaking up behind Rossi. Senna does another fastest lap. And Hulkenberg goes up the inside of Rossi into parabolic. A good move by the VCK driver. Felix da Costa's got past Button and Hakkinen's getting through as well. So Button has dropped back here. Felix has obviously finally found a place to make a move as Hakkinen going to sit behind Button, get a slipstream and have another go. Side by side into the braking point. Hakkinen, he sends it. Really big send on the brakes. Leaves the space, but Hakkinen gets the move done. Spectacular dive bomb there. And now Hulkenberg is he's having to defend from Rossi now. Rossi's going to try and swoop around the outside of the chicane, which he does. Hulkenberg tries to fight it on the exit, but that's not happening. Hill and Dixon once again rejoining their battles as Visser is caught back up to Hamilton. Forces Hamilton to take a tighter line into Ascari. Can't hold it through the corner to capitalise as much as you'd expect. They can't do anything down the straight. $25.0 for Senna. Head to a 25.8 for Heidfeld. 25.9. So yeah, Senna is 2 and a bit seconds a lap quicker. Hulkenberg is now being passed by Vettel, so Hulkenberg is struggling for pace as it seems. As everybody's just catching and passing him. The championship leader, remember this, is down in 13th place. Not an ideal scenario. And the guy second in the championship is, well, the guy third, sorry, is battling for the lead. Well, I say battling, he's falling away from the lead. But, you know what it's like, you don't want this, you don't want people trying to get past you all the time, as Felix gets a bit slidey. Now, Monza isn't typically that bad for tyre wear, but the way these guys are sliding around and absolutely tearing their tyres apart trying to overtake each other, I wouldn't be surprised if we have quite a few pit stops. But we'll see. Who knows? But I can certainly see the teams who've decided to hold out their low downforce packages, resist spending the money on it, saving it for this race at Monza. For the moment at least, it is looking like 2000 IQ move. It is absolutely big braining them. Alain Prost, who has been Mr. Backmarker this entire season really, he's happily trundling along in 6th and he's looking comfortable as Phil Hill and Scott Dixon side by side through the first chicane. Hill's got acceleration and he's going to pull away. Dixon's going to try and get a slipstream and get back round the outside through the Grande into the braking zone. Dixon's got the inside line, but Hill's got the inside of the next corner and he gets good exit, squeezes Dixon. As that was Stirling, Moss gets a bit sideways out the chicane. That's going to lose him time to Watson and Rossi catch up. Hulkenberg, another one to get a slide on, so starting to get slidey. The rear tyres will not like this too much. Now that said, Senna is quite imperious up the front, still setting fastest laps. So, there we go, the end of lap 11, so let's go for... the helmet camera. So Ayrton Senna started first, still is first, he's got 4 seconds now as his lead. Back to Nick Heidfeld, who's in second place for Cash Racing, doing what he can to keep up. Max Verstappen is falling away, he's still ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who's really struggling with Visser now, right behind. Prost has made up 2 places, aided by that low downforce. And Phil Hill is now 7th, as Scott Dixon has fallen away, as it's Milos, Pavlovic and Dixon are now battling for 8th and 9th, side by side through the curve of Gurney. We'll go back to the onboards when we've worked out which one of these is 8th and which one of these is 9th. Pavlovic diving back to the inside and cuts ahead into 8th place. So Dixon down to 9th, down 3 places. Sterling Rossi is down to 10th now, as Alexander Rossi is having to deal with the fact that John Watson has just put himself up into 11th and forced Rossi wide. So Rossi down to 12th. Not ideal. Vettel has got up past Felix to Costa, up from the back of the 14th. He's now passed his teammate Nico. Hulkenberg has dropped back to 15th. Mika Hakkinen 16th out 1 is battling Hulkenberg now, as Gurney has fallen back to 17th, and Jenson Button's had an absolute stinker, 6 places down to 18th. Oh, it's Lando, Norris and Mahaveer Raghunathan, the teammates, still battling it out. With almost contact on the exit race mode 2. Choppers being absolutely side by side here. Which one of these is going to get the position into Ascari? Norris has got the outside, he gets the line, he takes the place. Championship leaders DTK Racing really not showing any pace. They're just going to have to hope that, like last time out, they pull off a less stop strategy than everyone else and score some points through that way. Because with their pace drop, it's looking like that's the only way they're going to get it. Dixon up the inside, Pavlovic is not going to fight that round the outside, unfortunately, as Moss is catching up to play the game. Visser still can't get past Hamilton. Senna quite happily pulling away up front. And the brakes are still increasing his lead. So Heidfeld just cannot keep up with Senna. I said neither can Verstappen or Hamilton. Now these low downforce cars, these 7 seconds between Prost now and the high downforces in terms of Phil Hill. So Hill actually is going to be the first driver to make a pit stop. So Button, Hakkinen, Dixon, Phil Hill. Yeah, those ones are coming into the pits this lap. So at 14 out of 53, that's quite early. Is that going to be a 2 or 3 stop? Yeah, it's going to be a 3 stop. We're expecting the 2 stoppers to come in probably about lap 18, 17, 18. They can hold up to then and they should be able to 2 stop it. They can make it all the way up to lap 26 as a 1 stop. So we'll see. A few of them have got some decent tyre management, so we'll see how that goes. But Hamilton's first of the front runners to decide that they need to pit, as is Alain Prost. Pavlovic is going to come in this lap as Hill makes his stop. Wow, Norris and Raghunathan are so far back. Now 55 and 57 seconds in last. Oh, lack of power and high downforces. This is not the track to be a back marker, unfortunately, when you haven't got the power and you've got loads of downforce. So this is just a combination of everything going wrong. 28.6. Compare that to the 24.9s that the leader is doing. Norris, though, is going to give Hakkinen a go. Trying to get past in the breaking point, but not quite the momentum. He's going to have to defend for Jenson button for a bit. Senna's have to continue for another lap. Heidfeld and Verstappen. Well, we don't know yet. I nearly called them the fortnights. The DTKs still battling each other for 12th and 13th. Maybe they are trying to two-stop it, who knows? I mean, you can... I reckon the guys that are pitting probably will be three-stopping, but it's not too long before you can easily two-stop this. And it'll just be slightly longer final stint, but only like longer by like 4 laps or something. Senna's happy on these tyres. I mean, why wouldn't he be? He's absolutely flying on them. Heidfeld a happy second as that's Raghunathan is exited from this pit between second and third. Verstappen is coming in this lap. Visser isn't. Moss will though, as will Rossi and Vettel and Watson and Felix to Costa. That does surprise me. Pavlovic exits the pits ahead of Phil Hill and Scott Dixon, so that's handy for their little battle. Prost is miles ahead, and of course Hamilton's even further ahead. Button has managed to get ahead of, or stay ahead of Gurney in their pit stop, as Norris makes it in. Alright, what else is happening? Oh, Senna's dropped some pace. He's just done a 25.3 a minute, still quicker than I've seen anybody else do a lap. I've seen Visser in the slipstream doing 25.4. Heidfeld isn't going to try and go a little bit longer than everyone else like he did last time, so he's coming in this lap. Senna isn't. Visser will make it in. A load of them file into the pits. Hulkenberg is the next one to stay out, so he's going to go into 4th place. No, Hulkenberg giving in this lap. Again, this is kind of at the time when in lap 17 you could 2-stop this one, everyone's just going to 3-stop, because 53 laps divided by 4, it's 13 and a bit, divided by 3, it's 17 and a bit, so they will have to hold out to lap 26 though if they want to stop it, but I don't think anyone's that brave. It's not very stupid, but probably isn't that stupid, especially if you're Senna, look how far ahead you are, unless you don't want your tyres to explode. So Verstappen now catching up to Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg on old tyres and with a lot less top speed. Verstappen pulls to the inside in for Scar. He thinks about it, but Hulkenberg of course is better on the brakes. This is going to hold Verstappen up, and this could give some precedent to... Hamilton's miles behind. Hamilton's miles behind, so it's the overcut worked here. Ooh, we've seen the undercut being super powerful in other races. Hulkenberg filed into the pit and kept Hulkenberg Verstappen behind. Heidfeld exits the pits. Oh, Verstappen's not close enough to attack, but I'm sure Hamilton was close to Verstappen before this. Visser now under pressure from Prost, so maybe Prost is showing that the undercut has worked. On the outside, Prost up into 5th place, so Visser drops. Senna, I was about to say he's happy with his tyres, that was a big drift, but no, he's carrying on. Senna seeming very happy with his tyres. Carrying on for another lap with a 33-second lead now. He's going to win this by a country mile and a pit stop, I think. Now, Visser is a better driver than Prost. I will go by that. Stats and championship position tells us that. Can Visser use her long gearbox to get past Prost? The run onto the first straight is going to be the place to do it, where they're coming in a high gear anyway. After slow chicanes, the acceleration of that Falcon is going to annihilate the NLE. Parabolica, you're already going quite fast, so you need that top speed. It's the fastest point on the track anyway. Go on board with cross rear wing cam, see Visser. So we hit 210 already, as Visser's already increased into 221. This is going to go up the inside of Prost, gets a little squeeze in the braking zone. Prost fights back on the apex, and Prost will get the launch out the corner as expected. Prost takes the place back. This is now in the slipstream with a longer gearbox. Now as we accelerate towards the chicane, Visser has to sit behind. Senna's gone for another lap on these tyres. Maybe he is trying to one-stop, and that would be brave. Definitely two-stop range now for Senna. Senna was definitely two-stopping at minimum. At maximum even. You're not going to three-stop from here. That way. Raghunathan and Norris, the choppers, they might be last, but they are battling for last. They do not want to be last for long. They do not want to be the one that ends up last. Raghunathan slightly behind. Norris has the inside line. Raghunathan has the grippy rubbered in line. Has to just sit there. Senna, 34-second lead, and not looking to get rid of it yet. Visser now chasing Prost. Another chance. Get up the inside toe. No, Visser's not brave enough on the brakes. So Prost will keep the place for another lap. Pavlovic now doing the best of all the higher downforce cars. 5 seconds off Visser now. Phil Hill has got ahead of Dixon. Moss is unable to keep up, and Rossi is trying to keep up and get past Moss whenever they can. Tell 13th Watson was Felix to Costa is battling Hakkinen for 15th and 14th place. DTK are absolutely nowhere after their pit stops, and Hulkenberg down to 17th. His only hope is that he's two-stopping and everyone else is three, because he hasn't got the pace for anything else, put it that way. Button pushing Hulkenberg wide, and Hulkenberg has to sit there and accept that he's being pooed on, this championship leader. Here we go, lap 21, and Senna's finally coming in. He's going to have 32 laps done his tyres. No, he'll come in just towards the end of the race probably, put a new fresh set of boots on, get some serious pace. I mean, Heidfeld might be thinking here, oh well, Senna's on old tyres, I'm going to have the undercut of dreams here. He notices Visser has got past Prost here in the braking zone and is ahead through the apex of the corner, and Prost I don't think is going to fight back now. Gurney's got past Hakkinen. His Button is there. Hulkenberg will ride with him as we see the three of them side by side into the braking zone. Hakkinen's got the inside line. Gurney challenges, Button bounces up, and Hulkenberg and Button get bumped off into the gravel. Loses them both time. Hulkenberg down to 18th. As Button defends amicably. Oh, wrong way. Hulkenberg gets the acceleration out the corner. Button's got the inside line for Lesmo 1. Hulkenberg takes 17th place, not what you want as championship leader, and it's not exactly like he's back there with a broken front wing. After his pit stop, Senna emerges 7.5 seconds ahead, and still a lap ahead of Norris and Raghunathan, then Heidfeld is going to have to lap. Heidfeld is having to deal with the fact that Verstappen is just over a second behind him, and everyone else is doing what they're doing. Moss and Rossi battling each other here. Moss keeps the position though. Rossi's still trying to get past Moss, but that's not happening yet. Heidfeld can see the choppers up ahead, knows he's got a lap on soon. We'll enjoy a nice lap on board with Heidfeld. Audio up, I think that's the phrase. I hope you enjoyed that audio up lap. I'm guessing by the fact that so Norris and Raghunathan have now dropped behind quite a few cars. They are seemingly getting out of the way of these cars that are miles quicker than them, whether they like it or not. As soon as I say getting out of the way, Raghunathan completely blocks Prost in the braking zone, but hi-ho, that's his problem. Senna's 10-second lead is sensational. Prost now gets past Norris. Pavlovic is now 4 seconds behind, but he's got the two lap cars to get past now. Rossi's finally got past Moss. Why did I say Mossy? Great. Hulkenberg has now got past Hakkinen, and Button's going to follow him, so Hulkenberg up to 16th, still not in the points, but it's something. Gurney in 15th in the points. Can he at least get a point and finally get more than paltry 3 he's got so far? Oh no, that's I'll have to live with. So Visser is within a second behind Hamilton at 7/10. Pretty close in the lap of the fourth. But I think Rossi and Moss are probably the closest battles on the track. Up high in the points I'm talking about, not like the ones at the back that are just there. These two, of course, both kind of outsiders for the championship almost. Both the race winners. Of course, Rossi actually getting a terrible exit out of the Rossi chicane, and Moss going to send it up the inside into Lesmo 1. Position gained there for the Red Knight over the Excelsior. Red Knight only 2 points behind DTK in the Constructors' Championship. So, this should be pretty easy seeing how terrible DTK are doing here. For them to get ahead. Cass Racing though, on for a good haul of points and could join them up. Moss had an awful slide through the Lesmos. And Rossi's going to have a challenge into the Parabolica. Oh, both of them get a slide. They try and avoid hitting each other. But Rossi stays ahead, although Moss has got a little bit of slipstream. He's going to try and throw it back down the inside into the first corner. Back in the slipstream, get a little speed boost and then send it on the brakes. Moss has got ahead. Moss up to 10th then. That's what a yellow flag. That's a big accident for Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton has had an enormous crash there. There was fire out the back. Had his engine blown up. Or is that fire the result of it going off? He's hit the brakes and no, Visser has creamed into the back of Hamilton on the brakes. Something has gone wrong with Visser. She's close to Hamilton, but the brakes have gone. The brakes have gone on that NLE. And Hamilton is just taken out. So as I'm saying, Cash Racing is going to score a lot of points here. Unbeknownst to me, one of them has just been taken out by an NLE. That all looks normal except for Visser, and Hamilton just has to stop. We get a view from Prost. No, there's just cars off. There's debris on the right. There's a wheel rolling down the track, which Prost has just managed to avoid, and Pavlovic joining in. To find absolute mess. So there we go, Lewis Hamilton is the first retirement of the race. In 4th place, taken out by the 5th place, Beitske Visser. The wheel has actually rolled down and taken out one of the marker signs into the Lesmos. This is now crawling around in 5th there, front wing. I mean, give them more top speed, but not much around the corners. So this is the halfway point. I think this is going to have to pit again after this stop. That's going to be a big swing in points. As I said, Cash Racing, double high score in the top 6 here would have probably chucked them up front, seeing how Red Knight and DTK aren't exactly doing great, but they've just lost some points in NLE as well. This is probably going to be the race where they were going to make their most. So this has got a bit of a challenge on our hands now. Rossi going to have a go back at Moss. Moss defends. They have got some choppers to lap in a second. Moss really forcing Rossi to run the wall of death there. Rossi got the inside line for Grande. That's going to be the outside line when it comes to the Roger. Moss gets back in the slipstream and actually sends it on the brakes. Rossi gives Moss a massive squeeze and keeps the position. So, Senna's lead is now 11.2 seconds over Heidfeld, who's probably got to do an extra stop over Senna. Max Verstappen, 3rd place. You can come for, NLE need him to score maximum points now after Visser's front wing damage. Prost now in 4th place. Had a Pavlovic up 8 places to 6th. Dixon's back up to 6th. And Phil Hill has climbed up to 7th. Rossi's now 8th, with Moss behind and Vettel up to 10th now. John Watson's 11th, Felix Costa from last on the grid is 12th. Dan Gurney is up to 13th, Mika Hulkenberg in 14th, at least scoring points now. Button is 15th with Visser coming out ahead of Hakkinen. And oh, I mean, look at that, that's just insultingly quick as she just punts Button out the way into the parabolica and flies past on the exit in the acceleration zone. This is going to cut through the pack quite quickly, it seems. Hulkenberg pressuring Gurney through the first chicane, getting ahead and taking 13th place. Moss is falling away from Rossi's Phil Hill, already on lap 28, is coming into the pit, so Hill is definitely on the free stop because we're only just over half distance. Senna laughs at your puny early pit stops. He's only had these tyres on for what, 10 laps? If that, no, it's probably about 7 laps. Whatever it is, Heidfeld can't keep up with it. No one else can keep up with him. Dixon coming around in 6th place. As Hill diving into the pit lane. Watson is going to try and get past Vettel here as Vettel is being held up by Raghunathan. Oh, yeah, that did not go well. Watson had to get out the throttle because he wanted to go where Raghunathan was. Felix has got past Raghunathan but had to lift just afterwards for unknown reasons. But it has allowed him to catch a bit up to Watson, who was fallen away from Vettel. Okay, Button's coming to the pits. Felix is behind Hakkinen. This is now catching up towards Gurney and Hulkenberg. This will probably be quite an easy pass. As Hill could be lapped quite soon by Senna. Actually 102 behind, it's 20 seconds still to catch up. It's Curva Grande to Lesmo 1. Visser is going to catch up here to Gurney and Hulkenberg though. I think Gurney's going to try and get... Oh no, this is going to be done before Ascari. No, yeah, I was going to say, Gurney's got the downforce though. He can keep it going to its high speed corner. Dixon enters the pits as we can see on the map. Visser could be through very soon though. Slightly tighter line on the way in, not sure why she do that unless it's trying to avoid getting the aero wash because she's every bit of downforce she can get. Oh, look at that, that's just insulting to Gurney. Gurney's got the short gearbox and the high downforce, and even Hulkenberg's under pressure here. It's almost, there is contact as Visser is pushing Hulkenberg in the braking zone. If Visser hadn't thought to start slowing down, she could have had an aerial accident there launching off the rear wheel. That was scary for the NLE driver, given her fresh tyres and new front wing. She had to lift through Curva Grande and down the straight to avoid running into the back of Hulkenberg. So Visser really rocked by that. I think Raghunathan's about to go 2 laps behind Senna now, after his pit stop. A lot of dust thrown up there as Hulkenberg is having to deal with the fact that Norris is about to get out of his way. Now, Norris being there might help him get past Visser. It's actually Visser is stuck behind Norris in the braking zone. Hulkenberg doesn't lose his time, but not to Visser. I would say let's follow Gurney so he can get, but no. That's Visser just spits on Hulkenberg's puny, downforce, grippy wings that allowed him to be quick last time out and her to be slow. Felix to Costa challenging Watson here for 9th, whatever net place it is, I don't know anymore. Watson's coming to the pits though this lap, Felix isn't. Pavlovic, Prost. Senna's happy. Right, so 2 stoppers, what that's 15 into like Two stoppers, I should expect them to wait until about lap 35. Well, 35.3 is 2/3 of the way through the race, so at 34 I reckon will be the first time that the two stoppers have come in. Too early for Prost to make it to the end. 22 laps, I mean they probably could, but they're not going to. Pansies. All these three stops, absolute pansies. Get a grip. Stop using it. Well, the grip, you know what I mean. Gurney pulls inside and pretty much lets Button through there. No, fight on the exit, give it a go. Button sweep around the outside, Lesmo 1. No, he's going to have the line to Lesmo 2. Gurney gives up. I can't remember doing these pit stop winners. When cars tumble down the leaderboard, they're probably just in the pits. Senna's 13 seconds ahead, and he's got a load of lap cars in between him and Heidfeld, so he's swanning away with this. Heidfeld's on the grass into Ascari. Why? Verstappen's pitting, Rossi's pitting, Moss is pitting, Vettel's pitting, Prost has pitted, Felix to Costa isn't pitting yet, Pavlovic has, Visser definitely has, and he's going to try and get past Pavlovic. Hulkenberg's 11th and isn't pitting yet. I don't know about this lot. Gurney and Hakkinen battling it out still. I think they've both been in. Raghunathan's ahead of them. Okay, Raghunathan's about to be lapped by the car that's next in the pack ahead of him. Chopper have got a good amount of money in the bank. If they invest it well, they could get some pace back. Like, can they afford full power? 2, 6, 8, 3. They probably could afford to get there up to full power, which would put them back in it. I mean, they'd still be at the back, but not this far back. Well, as I said, this track just exacerbates it because it's a power track. Okay, Nick Heidfeld from second is coming to the pits. Verstappen has exited the pits, still in third. He's 45 seconds off the lead. Can he make it to the end on these set of tyres? Potentially. Felix to Costa is pitting at the end of this lap. Visser has now got past Pavlovic, back up into 6th. Hulkenberg is 8th. So this is interesting. If Hulkenberg is 2-stopping, and everyone else is 3-stopping, this is the position we'd expect him to be, except losing some pace towards the end of the race. So we'll see. This is going to be the only chance DTK has if both these drivers can make their tyres last to the end. 20 laps is doable. We'll see what happens. So Hulkenberg's going to have to do 19 at most because he's not coming in this lap. Senna's lapping 14th place now. Helps that he's only one stopped, but that's still devastating for everyone else. There you go, Raghunathan is now a lap down behind 17th place. Wow. So there's Heidfeld in the pits. Has Verstappen done a 7-second quicker out lap? I highly doubt it. He's at Parabolica and Heidfeld's exited the pits right at the end. So there you go, Senna. You've got 39 seconds to drop back into. Doesn't help that Heidfeld make a horrible noise over that curb. Pavlovic is sat in the slipstream. He said, yeah, I can get past. Oh, I'm stuck at 210 and this is doing 214 not in a slipstream. Oh, brilliant. Just what I wanted. Hulkenberg is now pitting. That 33. This is, yes, this is about the point where if Hulkenberg makes a third stop, it's going to be like 5 laps to go and it's going to be devastating for him. But I think Hulkenberg and Senna probably the only drivers here that are going to 2-stop. Felix to Costa might, Heidfeld might. They're no 3-stopping. They could 2-stop. Let's go on board with our race leader. He's 40.8 seconds. What do they need to worry about? Well, I suppose back markers crashing into him. Engine blowing up. I'm going to stop commentators cursing. He's gone on the curb there. Oh, sorry, 28. Oh, he did have a pit stop, so I'll let him off that. Verstappen has done 25.8 on his new set of tyres. Senna, let's see what he does at the end of this lap. I mean, it's not like he's taking this cautious in the lead. He's putting wheels on the grass in the braking zones. That could very easily end up with him being dragged to the right, shot into the wall, and having an enormous accident into the tyres. Looks like Rossi's got past Hulkenberg because Hulkenberg is pitted. Forgot about that. Senna out here casually doing 25.3, still quicker than anyone else. Why does he need to pit? Why should he pit? Just carry on driving this exemplary. No. Felix to Costa from 12th, is about to get out of his way. Norris is nowhere. Hulkenberg down to 14th after his stop. Will this have been his last stop though? Who knows? I don't. And if I did know, it would be boring because I know. I certainly predicted that this is it, but you never know. And I know you said former FG. It's tied. I'm late. What do you expect? Verstappen's on 25.2. So Verstappen has finally done a lap quicker than Ayrton Senna. Only just. Oh, Heidfeld has got the lead gap down to less than 40 seconds. He's chucked that away with that slide. And it is because Senna's had to lap a few drivers. Pavlovic has got his red light up into 5th. That is going to be quite handy in the championship for the team, especially with DTK languishing down in no man's land with the faint hope of a 2-stop being their only chance of major points. Could be a good day for Red Knight getting to the top of the championship. Cass with one of their leading drivers taken out. They're not going to get as much of a payday as they'd hoped for. Excelsior. They're stuck in the mid-pack, really. It's not going well for them. Harvey in 5th, they're nowhere. Falcon are looking happy. They're currently 6th in the championship, and there they are in 4th and 1st. It could be a fantastic day for that team. NLE comes out in 3rd and 6th, actually 3rd and 5th, because I can't see Pavlovic holding Visser off for long. They're 7th in the championship. They're going to fly up the pack. It's actually, Visser having a go at Pavlovic, but not on a braking point. You're not going to outdo a downforce car in a braking zone. No, that's not happening. Struggling through the Lesmos is Visser. Tyres, of course, will be older than, I was going to say everyone on the track, but it's not everyone because Senna's still out there in the lead. Pavlovic has got the inside line into a scar in this. I don't know why you were trying to dive bomb from that far back into such a quick corner. That wasn't going to work, was it? And it didn't. What a surprise. Parabolica, not happening either. Pavlovic's driving very well in that red night to keep ahead of this for so long. Short gearbox, high down, well, literally the time I look away to check the stats and work out what the red night's like. That's when the overtake happens, in the middle of the straight, miles before I thought it was going to happen. You love to see it, or in my case, miss it because you're trying to get your statement factually correct. You love it. Senna's added 25 zeros. I don't know why he'd want to pit, except he'd have to get a warning that the tyre light to blow up. Which, looking at how quick he's going, I don't think that's going to happen. There was some contact, but it's going to take me forever to find who it was. It was Felix and Watson. Oh, first dropped to 41 seconds. Again, the undercut just isn't working well enough around here. This was now miles ahead of well, not miles ahead of Pavlovic, but it will be soon. Hill and Rossi, their Excelsior teammates, now battling here for 8th place, with Stirling and Moss sat behind going, oh, please screw each other over so I can overtake both of you. Both take the defensive lines into a scurry. They're lucky to add to lift in the middle, because otherwise they'd have really lost a load of time through there. Rossi in the slipstream. Not able to make a move though. And as you can see, that Sebastian Vettel is now going to lap down, it would seem. Up ahead, Pavlovic is sticking behind Visser and really hounding the Dutchwoman. So this isn't done and dusted yet. Rossi trying to go on the outside of Hill into the first chicane. Teammates, a bit of contact, but they both make it round. Both surviving for the moment. Moss hoping it all goes a bit messy. Rossi's now going to have the inside line into the Della Rosa chicane, but he's behind. Not at the apex, but Hill's got the inside on the exit. Then the inside for the Lesmo. Moss is now right with him. Pavlovic has not let Visser get away at all. Pavlovic might not have the top speed, but he's got the grip through the corners and he's able to keep him up. I don't think he's ever going to make an overtake unless there's a mistake. Here we go, Rossi going to have another go at Phil Hill, this time into a scurry. Doesn't work as Hill gets sideways. A little bit of contact there with Rossi, I think stopped Hill having a full-on spin. We'll get a replay of that. So Rossi's up the inside, Hill's put it wide. Yes, hitting his teammate is what stopped Phil Hill having a massive crash there, because he would have probably been T-boned by Moss in the middle of the scurry, which is a quick corner. But Moss has lost momentum in that as well as Hill, so Rossi up to 8th, Hill down to 9th, and Moss is 10th now. Felix to Costa right behind Vettel. Hulkenberg nowhere. Hakkinen also nowhere, and Gurney not in the points. Come on, man. Senna lap 41, 25 twos. Didn't do anything except keep going. Still not wanting a pit stop. He's happy. Heidfeld's going under the bridge, under the oval. He's that far behind. Actually, Pavlovic has got back past Beitske Visser. So I did say, I thought this was going to get past and disappeared, but Pavlovic has held on here. Visser must have just had a terrible exit through the chicane or something. Yeah, got it a bit loose on the exit curb. Alain just turned up and thought, yeah, what, screw you, I'm going up the inside, I'm going to take this place. Pavlovic up to 5th. How long that's going to be? Judging by the slipstream, probably not that long, but you never know. Of course, it could all end in tears. That's definitely a possibility. We saw how close Hill was to getting taken out by Moss. Or at least just spinning off on his own. Let's go ahead, so Heidfeld is a tenth slower than Senna was on that last lap, and he's on brand new tyres. Verstappen's nowhere. At least Visser's got an excuse, he's just got overtaken this lap by a car that's slower in the straights. Oh, that's not good. Pavlovic is a sitting duck. Yeah, there we go, Visser just flying past Pavlovic later on the brakes though, closing up. Oh, sorry. End of lap 41. 12 laps to go here. Senna finally decides that these tyres, which are just done at 25.0, 1/10 off the fastest lap, he's seen the absolute mess up ahead of him that he's got to lap and gone, I'm not getting involved in all this, please. Can I have some new tyres so I don't have to try and get through this absolute mess? All that protection. There's a hill, bumps into the back of Rossi in the braking zone. Rossi's unable to keep up really, even though the Excelsiors are doing their utmost to screw each other over. Pavlovic has not left Visser alone this entire lap, ever since the overtake. Senna must be getting worried, catching up to Moss there. And here we go, so Senna's going to come into the pits. And in this lap, just at the hour mark. Held on for a long time on these tyres and I don't think he used everything from them because they're still setting really good lap times. So Senna finally pitting from the lead. What time am I expecting the 3-stoppers to pit? About lap 30. Oh, actually, yeah, 3-stoppers should be pitting quite soon. I think it's Phil Hill who was the first one who's pitted both times, so I expect him to come in first. Pavlovic is sat behind Visser in the slipstream. It's the short gearbox allowing him to keep up with Visser in the slipstream down the beginning of the straights. And apart from the first straight, this is not really getting to speeds that Pavlovic can't attain. And then he's just keeping up through the turns. Oh my god. Senna's lead out front, it's 17 seconds. And you'll have to put a lap on Mika Hakkinen again. Oh, well, maybe not. Heidfeld, his heart must have just sunk when he heard the news that, oh, by the way, you're 17 seconds behind the leader who's only just pitted for some tyres which are going to the end. Good luck. There you go, Visser. So yeah, Visser, because she had the new front wing. She's going to be the first one to make a final stop. So, is Visser going to have the overall pace over Pavlovic or not? That's what we'll find out. Can Pavlovic get ahead, or is it just being in the slipstream is enough to keep Pavlovic going as quick as he is? Rossi has finally dropped Hill and Moss as Hill is coming in this lap. Vettel and Watson battling over 12th as Hulkenberg's 14th is going right. Can I get these tyres to last another 10 laps? What he hopes for. I mean, if he gets lapped by Senna, it'll only be another 9 laps he needs to do. Which is quite helpful actually. Raghunathan 18th is about to get lapped by Heidfeld. Again. In the braking zone, he lets him through quite nicely. Norris lets Verstappen through in the braking. Oh, does he? No, Norris completely blocks the NLE off. He wanted that apex. He might be last, but he wanted the apex, so okay, reasons. Oh, trying to find the right camera shot and ended up missing the crucial bit when Senna nearly crashed into the silly pop of Gurney. Oh, it's on the grass. What are you doing, man? You don't need to be that aggressive. Dixon's picking this lap. So Visser exiting the pits ahead of Felix Costa, well ahead of Hulkenberg. Who's the other one who might be going long? Can't remember. I honestly can't remember who's the other one that might be trying to two-stop it apart from Senna and the DTKs. Oh, it's Heidfeld. Yeah, Heidfeld might try and two-stop it. Yeah, no, Heidfeld might be able to get away with this to the end. We're 17 seconds off Senna, up in 45 or whatever it'll be otherwise. And Button next in the pits, right in front of Heidfeld. That's going to screw Heidi up a little bit. Does want to get past Button. Did I see a yellow flag for something? No, I didn't. It's just been a... I don't know. Obviously wasn't paying attention enough. Senna loves to use the grass to turn into a Ascari for some reason. I don't know why. And if he hits the grass and has a big crash because of it, like 2 laps from the end, I will have no sympathy. Because I've warned him enough times. If he wants to keep doing it and it goes wrong finally, that's his fault. Prost has now put a lap on Norris. Pavlovic versus Visser is going to be there. You go, Senna, new tyres that aren't going to have to last long than 24.6. 24.6, that's just ridiculously quick. Hakkinen picking from 16th place as Button gets through. And Raghunathan makes his 3rd stop. That's the wrong camera. Let's get some over the shoulder action with 2nd place at Heidfeld. So Rossi is now up to 6th and has dropped Moss because Phil Hill's jumped out of the way. Visser down to 8th, but we'll get past these probably quite easily, especially when they jump in the pits. Felix to Costa up to 9th now. Championship leaders in 12th. Not great. Not great at all. Gurney is 14th in the points, but Phil Hill is really close. We'll probably get past, and Gurney might still have to pit. Senna's now done a 24.5. What do you mean? It's just showing off now. It's 20 seconds he's pulled the Heidfeld. Gurney tyres, what a lark. On absolute lark. Prost actually finds Mika Hakkinen unlapping himself into the parabolica. I mean, he'll annihilate him down this straight, which he quite easily does, but he lost him a little bit of time. Not sure who to, but into cars, not considering he's racing. Gurney's coming in. Yeah, I did say he might have to. Norris is coming in. So we might see a few very late race pit stops here, because there's only 6 laps to go. I mean, surely most of these guys can actually make it to the end on these tyres now. I mean, we've seen how far Senna pushed his, and he, well, no, he really was pushing. He wasn't exactly nursing. He was doing 25 zeros, which nobody else has got anywhere near. Ross has got Visser trying to go around the outside here of Curva Grande. Moss hasn't even bothered to fight back. Just accepted defeat. That's 24-0 that Senna's just done. 24-0. What? Heidfeld in 2nd place. What's he doing? He's 2 seconds off the pace. 2 seconds off the pace. What do you mean? This is just frightening if you're literally anyone else. Pavlovic here, not with the low downforce package, and he's doing 2.4 seconds off the race leader's pace. That's just phenomenal. Oh, Hulkenberg has spun off at Ascari. Championship leader, potential 2-stopper. Has he been punted? Has Dixon helped him off? Dixon's gone up the inside. Now Hulkenberg just run wide. He's lost it. He's clipped Dixon and gone round. He's hit the wall. Rear wing's a bit bent, but it looks fine. Well, I mean, you say that, he's super sliding. Luckily, he hasn't rejoined straight into race leader Ayrton Senna. Hulkenberg now goes a lap down, and well, chances of many points are minimal now. Especially as it looks like everybody else is quite happy on these tyres to the end. Especially Senna, 24-4 with the yellow flag, casual. Big cloud of dust as well, yellow flag at turn 1, and that looks like it's a 2K F1. It is, it's John Watson, he's gone off at the first chicane. What's happened to Watson? He's hit the brakes and it snapped left, he's spun really a long way off. Is his engine blown up? Or has he just lost it on the brakes? No, there's no smoke. He's lost it. Maybe his brakes have gone. Whatever it is, it's another DNF for 2KF1 who keep charging so much into their reliability. They just cannot catch a break. That's at least half these races this year. They have not got one of their cars in the points. A heartbreak for 2KF1 here in Monza. What can I say except about the only way to sum it up, really. 4 laps to go, or 3 and a bit laps to go. 4 and a bit, 3 and a bit, 4 and a bit. That's an amount left to go. Senna is a million miles ahead of everyone else. Visser is catching up Rossi. Brand new tyres, of course, that's going to be helping Visser. Rossi does a 26.5, Visser does a 20. Yeah, it's 1.1 seconds. And a much faster car in a straight line. This is not going to be passed, it's not going to take long for this to get past here. Will it be a move into De La Rocha? That doesn't even need to make it to De La Rocha, and that's a pass. Rossi just accepted it through Curva Grande. He probably didn't accept it, but this didn't give him much of a chance. Senna now approaching a big group of battling 11th and 10th and 6th, and he's not going to get past all of them, and especially if stuff goes wrong, but who knows. Gurney now up into 15th and last of the points, so he would get a point, which should, that's a third of what he's got so far, so I think he can take it. Hulkenberg 12th now with that damaged rear wing. Felix Costa 9th, so DTK not having the greatest of races. And Pavlovic doing a really good job there for the high downforce drivers, getting up into 5th place, keeping there, battling with Visser, and of course Visser had to change her front wing after the crash with Hamilton, which has contributed to Pavlovic in an excellent 5th place, 16 seconds ahead of Visser. Prost in 4th. I mean, he scored 7 points in Germany, but that was kind of a attrition-based affair. Here, it's pure pace and he's in 4th. He's had no pace so far, so this is looking spectacular for the Falcon team. Senna now can put a lap on Scott Dixon. Dixon will probably happily get out of the way into one of the Lesmos. I wouldn't say happily, but he got out of the way enough. Once Senna chose the place, let him through. Heidfeld's now 25 seconds behind Senna. Verstappen's now a further 7 and a bit behind with Heidfeld. Rossi having left Moss for dust. Quite happy in his place. Dixon there, so quite a long lap. But Senna's lapped him up to 11th so far. It does help that they've all done an extra pit stop, but you'd expect the ones doing less stops to be slower on their tyres, not faster than everybody else. It really doesn't look... it's a little bit down on the left. No, oh yeah, that's where it looks dented. Hill's extra stop is not working. He's down to 13th from 9th place, I think he was in. Norris is down 3 laps now. That's something to note. And Senna has only got 1.5 laps to go here to take his first win. And the first win for Falcon as well. They've slowly been knocking over the last few races. Now, they could have won in Virginia after Rossi's crash, but Heidfeld's 2-stop destroyed everyone's 3-stop strategy. So, like Senna, you've got a lap and a corner to make it round. Keep it together. And this is damaged front wing after the earlier accident. Got Dixon here. Can he get past Vettel and into the top 10? He's got the brand new tyres. Vettel hasn't. He's got the inside line. Harvey hasn't. Harvey hasn't for Vettel. Silly Pop gets past Vettel. So, Ayrton Senna on his last lap. It's an imperious drive from the Brazilian. I think he's led every atom of this race. Start to finish, he's been absolutely on song. Nobody's kept up with him. Nobody's kept their tyres alive like he has either. Senna through the Scottish chicane, bit of a drift, showing off to the fans in the grandstands. He's got one corner to go. The Falcon team are getting ready. The Hungarian team never had a race win, had a couple of podiums before, but this is the big one. In one of the most dominant drives we've seen in a long time since DTK in Australia, Ayrton Senna wins the Italian Grand Prix by an absolute country mile. As in the background, Vettel has beaten Dixon on the line for 10th place. Great move there. Bit of slipstream across the line. Heidfeld comes down the final corner, winner last time out. He didn't have the pace today, but he had the pace to beat everybody else. Heidfeld takes 2nd place on the line. Max Verstappen, he's going to take 3rd and get a nice podium for NLE. NLE's first podium of the season actually. Alain Prost gets a spectacular 4th place. That's going to really help him in the championships. Actually in the background, Milos Pavlovic has got smoke pouring from the back of his car, but he makes it across the line. Well, that must have been heart in mouth for the Red Knight across the line, but he makes it. Engine's dying. He's crossed the line, so it doesn't matter anymore. Visser takes 6th though. Brilliant. Raft of points for NLE. Rossi in 7th for Excelsior. Moss is in 8th. Felix to Costa will come across the line, not to be the last car, not a lap down. So Vettel got Dixon on the line to take 10th. Hulkenberg 12th. Well 13th, Button 14th, and Gurney does get some points. Or a point at 15th as Hakkinen runs out a pointless race, 2KF1. Raghunathan 17th and Norris in 18th. As the 2 retirements of Watson and Hamilton. So, that was the Global Formula Automobilista Season 3 Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. My voice is absolutely cooked because there has been quite a lot of action to talk about there, and I'm not used to talking that much, so I need to go and have a rest. If you've enjoyed this race, please smash like underneath this. I'd love to see many likes as possible. Let me know that you've enjoyed this. If you've got anything to say, chuck it in the comments, describe the race, talk about your favourite drivers, and if you're interested, do what Chopper did, do what Cass did. Come along, have a look in the description, there's a link to the race department thread to which this championship is based on. Sign up for the team and join us for the next round, which will be the British Grand Prix. So, I hope you've enjoyed, and see you next time. Goodbye.